Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm really happy you're here today. Whether you're listening while relaxing at home, driving to work, taking a walk, or getting ready to sleep, thank you for spending this time with me. Today's story is called One Small Step. Sometimes we believe that our lives will change because of one big opportunity. A better job, more money, a lucky moment. But what if real change doesn't begin with something big? What if it begins with something so small that most people don't even notice it? Today's story is about an ordinary person, someone who felt stuck, someone who almost stopped dreaming, and someone who discovered that even the smallest step can change the direction of an entire life. So take a deep breath, relax, listen carefully, and let's begin today's journey. Another ordinary morning. The alarm rang at exactly 6 o'clock. Its sound filled the quiet room. I slowly opened my eyes and looked at the ceiling. For a few seconds, I didn't move. I simply lay there, staring at the small crack above my bed. It had been there for years. Every morning, I looked at the same crack. Every morning, I asked myself the same question. Is today going to be any different? The answer was always the same. Probably not. I turned off the alarm and sat on the edge of my bed. The room was small. There was a single bed, a wooden desk, an old chair, and a tiny bookshelf with only a few books. Nothing expensive, nothing special, just enough. The morning air was cold. Outside the window, the sky was still gray. Birds were beginning to sing. People were starting another busy day. I stood up slowly and walked to the kitchen. The coffee machine was old, but it still worked. As the coffee brewed, I looked out the window. Cars passed by. A man walked his dog. A young woman hurried toward the bus stop. Everyone seemed to know where they were going. Everyone seemed to have a purpose, except me. I picked up my cup and whispered, maybe today will be different. But deep inside, I didn't believe my own words. I worked in a small office downtown. Nothing exciting ever happened there. Every day looked almost exactly the same. Open the computer, answer emails, attend meetings, fill out reports, go home. Go home. Repeat. Sometimes I couldn't even remember what day it was. Monday felt like Tuesday. Tuesday felt like Wednesday. The weeks disappeared before I even noticed. One afternoon, while organizing old documents, I stopped for a moment. I looked around the office. Some of my coworkers were laughing together. Others were busy typing. The manager walked past my desk without saying anything. I suddenly realized something. I had been working there for almost 4 years. 4 years. It felt like only yesterday when I walked into that office for the first time. Back then, I was full of hope. I believed this job was only the beginning. I told myself, I'll work here for a year, save some money, learn new skills, and then chase my dream. But 1 year became 2, 2 became 3, 3 became 4, and somehow my dream quietly disappeared. Not because someone stole it, not because someone told me to stop. It disappeared because I became comfortable, but not happy. That evening, after work, I didn't go straight home. Instead, I walked through a small park near the train station. Children were playing, parents were laughing. An old couple sat together on a bench, sharing a sandwich. A young boy was trying to ride his bicycle without training wheels. He fell. His father helped him stand up. The boy smiled. Then he tried again. He fell again, and again, and again. But every time he stood up, I couldn't stop watching. His father never shouted. He never became angry. He simply smiled and said, "One more try." Just 3 simple words. One more try. The boy nodded. This time, he wrote a little farther. Not perfectly, not smoothly, but farther. For some reason, those words stayed in my mind. One more try. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the little boy. He didn't become good because he was talented. He became better because he kept trying. Then I asked myself a difficult question. When was the last time I tried something new? I couldn't answer. I had spent years waiting for motivation, waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting until I felt confident, waiting until life became easier. But maybe life was waiting for me instead. The next morning, something unusual happened. While drinking my coffee, I noticed an old notebook hidden under a pile of papers. It was covered with dust. I smiled. I hadn't seen it in years. Curious, I opened the first page. The handwriting looked familiar. Of course, it was mine. I had written it almost 5 years ago. At the top of the page, I had written one sentence in big letters. My dreams. I slowly turned the pages. I want to speak English confidently. I want to travel to different countries. I want to read one book every month. I want to become someone who never stops learning. I stopped reading for a long time. I just stared at those words. It felt as if I were meeting my younger self again, a younger version of me. Someone who believed that anything was possible. Someone who smiled more often. Someone who wasn't afraid to dream. I quietly asked myself, what happened to you? No one answered. Only silence filled the room. I closed the notebook and looked outside. The sun was rising. Its warm light slowly entered my room. For the first time in a long while, I didn't feel hopeless. I didn't feel excited either. I felt something much quieter, something much smaller. A tiny spark. Not enough to change my whole life, but maybe enough to change today. I picked up a pen, opened the notebook again, and wrote just one sentence under my old dreams. Today, I will take one small step. I didn't know where that step would lead me. I didn't know if I would succeed. I didn't know if my life would really change. But for the first time in years, I stopped waiting and I finally decided to begin. The next morning felt different. Not because the weather had changed, not because something amazing had happened. Everything around me looked exactly the same. The same alarm, the same room, the same cup of coffee, the same road to work. But something inside me was different. For the first time in years, I had made a promise to myself. It wasn't a big promise. I wasn't trying to change my whole life. I only wanted to take one small step. As I finished my breakfast, I looked at the notebook once again. The sentence I had written the day before was still there. Today, I will take one small step. I smiled. Then, I asked myself, what should that small step be? There were so many things I wanted to improve. I wanted to be healthier. I wanted to save more money. I wanted to become more confident. I wanted to speak English fluently. I wanted to read more books. The list felt endless. For a moment, I became overwhelmed. Maybe I was trying to do too much again. Then I remembered the little boy in the park. He didn't learn to ride his bicycle in one day. He simply tried one more time. That was enough. So I made a simple decision. Every night before going to bed, I would study English for just 15 minutes. Not 1 hour, not 3 hours, just 15 minutes. 15 minutes sounded easy, almost too easy. But maybe that was exactly the point. That evening, after coming home from work, I felt tired, very tired. I threw my bag onto the chair and looked at the clock. It was already 7:30. My first thought was, maybe I'll start tomorrow. I laughed. Isn't that what I had been saying for years? Tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. Tomorrow had stolen so many dreams. I walked to my desk, opened my notebook, turned on my laptop, and searched for a simple English lesson. The first video was about greetings. Hello. How are you? Nice to meet you. I almost closed the video. This is too easy, I thought. I already know this. Then the teacher said something unexpected. Don't learn to impress people. Learn to improve yourself. I paused the video. That sentence stayed in my mind. Maybe learning wasn't about showing other people how much I knew. Maybe learning was simply becoming a little better than yesterday. I continued watching. 15 minutes passed very quickly. When the lesson ended, I looked at the clock. I had done it. It wasn't difficult. It wasn't exciting, but I had kept my promise. For the first time in a long time, I felt proud of myself. Not because I had learned many new words, but because I had finally done what I said I would do. Then, the day after that, another 15 minutes. Sometimes I watched listening practice. Sometimes I learned new vocabulary. Sometimes I simply repeated simple sentences aloud, little by little. Those 15 minutes became part of my routine. A week passed. Then 2 weeks, 1 month. My English was still far from perfect, but something much more important had changed. I trusted myself again. Every time I kept a promise to myself, my confidence grew a little stronger. One Friday afternoon, my coworker Daniel walked over to my desk. "Hey," he said, "what are you doing after work?" "Nothing special," I replied. He smiled. "A few of us are going to a cafe. You should come." Normally, I would have said no. I always found an excuse. I'm tired. Maybe next time I have something to do. But this time, I remembered my notebook. One small step, maybe. Today, my small step wasn't about studying English. Maybe it was about saying yes. So I smiled. "Sure, I'd love to come." Daniel looked surprised. "Really?" "Yeah, great. Let's go." The cafe wasn't fancy. It was warm, comfortable. Soft music played in the background. People were talking quietly. Some were reading books. Others were working on their laptops. For the first few minutes, I didn't say much. I simply listened. Then the conversation slowly became more interesting. We talked about our childhood, our favorite movies, places we wanted to visit, books we wanted to read. I realized something. These people weren't as confident as I had imagined. One friend admitted he was afraid of public speaking. Another said she had failed 2 job interviews before getting this job. Daniel confessed that he still felt nervous before every presentation. I was shocked. I had always believed I was the only one who felt insecure, but everyone around that table was carrying a struggle I couldn't see. That night, as I walked home beneath the city lights, I remembered the old man from the park. Don't compare your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20. Maybe he was right. Everyone has battles. Some are simply better at hiding them. Before going to sleep, I opened my notebook again. Below yesterday's sentence, I wrote another one. Small steps don't only change your habits, they also change the way you see yourself. I closed the notebook, turned off the light, and smiled. Tomorrow, I would take another small step. I still didn't know where this journey would lead, but for the first time in years, I was actually enjoying the journey itself. Life didn't change overnight. In fact, most days still looked the same. I woke up at 6, made a cup of coffee, went to work, came home, studied English for 15 minutes, read a few pages of a book, then went to bed. Day after day, week after week. If someone had looked at my life from the outside, they probably wouldn't have noticed anything different. And honestly, neither did I. One rainy Monday morning, I stood at the bus stop with my umbrella. People around me looked tired. Everyone was looking at their phones. No one was talking. The rain fell quietly, covering the city in gray. As I waited for the bus, I suddenly asked myself, is any of this actually working? I had been studying every day for almost 2 months. I had kept every promise. I hadn't missed a single day, but I still couldn't speak English confidently. I still wasn't living the life I had imagined. I still felt ordinary. When the bus arrived, I sat near the window. Raindrops slowly rolled down the glass. Watching them, I thought, maybe 15 minutes isn't enough. Maybe I'm wasting my time. Negative thoughts are strange. They don't knock on the door. They quietly walk into your mind and make themselves feel at home. That afternoon, something happened at work. Our manager called everyone into the meeting room. We have an important presentation next month, he said. We'll be working with an international client. The room became silent. Then he asked, who feels comfortable speaking English? Immediately, 2 hands went up. Then another. Then another. I looked down at my notebook. I wanted to raise my hand. I really did. But fear stopped me. What if I made mistakes? What if everyone laughed? What if my English wasn't good enough? So I stayed silent. The manager nodded. All right. Thank you. The meeting ended. Everyone walked out, except me. I remained in my chair for a few seconds. I wasn't disappointed because I wasn't chosen. I was disappointed because I hadn't even given myself a chance. That evening, I didn't open my notebook. I didn't study. I sat quietly in my room. The notebook was right there on my desk, but I ignored it. For the first time in almost 2 months, I wanted to quit. My phone suddenly buzzed. It was a message from Daniel. Hey, are you okay? You looked quiet today. I stared at the screen. Then I replied, I don't think I'm making any progress. A few minutes later, another message appeared. Can I call you? I pressed the green button. Hey, Daniel said, you sound tired. I've been trying so hard, but nothing is changing. Daniel stayed silent for a moment. Then he asked, do you remember when you started going to the gym? I laughed. I never went to the gym. Exactly, he replied. But imagine this. If you exercise today, will your body change tomorrow? No. What about next week? Probably not. What about after 6 months? I smiled. It will, Daniel continued. Learning is the same. You don't notice daily progress. You notice yearly progress. His words reminded me of something. Every tree begins as a tiny seed, but nobody stands in front of a seed and says, grow faster. Growth takes time. After the call ended, I walked to the window. The rain had stopped. The streets were still wet. The city lights reflected beautifully on the road. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then I noticed something. A small plant was growing between 2 cracks in the sidewalk. It wasn't supposed to be there. There was almost no soil. Cars passed over it every day. People stepped around it without noticing. Yet, somehow, it continued growing. Slowly, patiently, but without complaining. I couldn't stop looking at it. Nature has a funny way of teaching us lessons. That tiny plant wasn't trying to become a giant tree overnight. It was simply growing, one day at a time. Maybe that's what I needed to do. I walked back to my desk, opened the notebook, and read every sentence I had written during the past 2 months. Today, I will take one small step. Small steps don't only change your habits, they also change the way you see yourself. I smiled. Then I added another sentence. Progress is often invisible until one day it isn't. I underlined it twice. The next morning, I returned to my routine: coffee, work, reading, Englis. 15 minutes. Nothing extraordinary, just another small step. But this time, I wasn't expecting a miracle. I wasn't chasing perfection. I was simply becoming the kind of person who keeps going, even when nobody is watching, even when progress feels invisible, even when the results haven't arrived yet. Because deep inside, I was beginning to understand something. Success isn't built on the days when you feel motivated. It's built on the days when you don't feel motivated, but you choose to continue anyway. A few weeks later, something unexpected happened. During lunch, Daniel sat beside me with a smile. "Good news," he said. "The international client is visiting our office next Friday." I nodded. "That's exciting." Then he looked at me and said, "I told our manager you've been studying English." My eyes widened. "You?" "What?" Daniel laughed. "Don't worry." I only told him the truth. I felt my heart beating faster. What if he asks me to speak? Daniel smiled. Maybe he will. He stood up, picked up his coffee, and before walking away, he said one sentence that stayed in my mind for the rest of the day. Sometimes the opportunity you've been waiting for arrives quietly. Make sure you're ready when it does. I watched him leave. Then I looked at my notebook. Maybe, just maybe, all those small steps were about to lead me somewhere I had never expected. Friday arrived faster than I expected. The entire office felt different that morning. Everyone was busy. People were checking documents. Some were practicing their presentations. Others were preparing the meeting room. Even the manager looked more serious than usual. As for me, I couldn't stop thinking about what Daniel had said. Maybe he will ask you to speak. I tried to tell myself not to worry, but my heart refused to listen. Every time I imagined speaking English in front of strangers, my hands became cold. Around 10 o'clock, the international clients arrived. There were 4 of them. 2 men, 2 men, 2 women. 2 women. They smiled as they entered the office. Everyone greeted them warmly. "Good morning. It's nice to meet you." I stood a little farther away, watching everything. I hoped no one would notice me. Sometimes, when we're afraid, we become invisible on purpose. The meeting began. Our manager introduced the company. Everything was going smoothly. I quietly took notes. Then something unexpected happened. The projector suddenly stopped working. The presentation disappeared. The room became silent. People looked at each other. Someone tried to fix the computer. Someone else checked the cables. Nothing worked. The clients waited patiently, but everyone could feel the tension. Our manager looked around the room. Then he smiled. "While we're fixing the projector," he said, "why don't we have a casual conversation?" He looked toward our team. "Who would like to introduce themselves?" Silence. No one spoke. I looked at the table. Then I heard my name. "Our friend here has been studying English recently." It was Daniel. I looked at him in surprise. He smiled as if to say, "You've got this." For a second, I wanted to say no. I wanted to stay in my chair. I wanted someone else to do it. But then I remembered something. The little boy in the park. One more try. The old man on the bench. Don't compare your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20. My notebook. Today, I will take one small step. Slowly. He stood up. I took a deep breath. My hands were shaking. I smiled. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ethan. I work in the administration department. I've been working here for 4 years. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. I paused. I was sure everyone could hear my heartbeat. One of the clients smiled. Nice to meet you too, Ethan. Suddenly, something changed. It wasn't a test anymore. It was simply a conversation. One client asked, "So, what do you enjoy most about your job?" I thought carefully. Then I answered, "I enjoy solving problems and learning new things." The sentence wasn't perfect. Maybe my grammar wasn't perfect either, but they understood me, and I understood them. For the next few minutes, we talked about work, about the city, about food, about travel. Sometimes I searched for the right word. Sometimes I made small mistakes, but no one laughed. No one judged me. Instead, they listened. After the meeting ended, one of the clients walked over to me. He smiled and shook my hand. "You speak very clearly," he said, "and I can see that you're still learning. Keep going. You'll become even better." I thanked him. Those simple words meant more to me than he could ever imagine, because for years, I had believed I wasn't good enough. Yet, today, a complete stranger had reminded me that progress matters more than perfection. Later that afternoon, Daniel found me in the break room. "So," he asked with a grin, "how do you feel?" I laughed. Honestly, I was terrified. Daniel laughed too. "I know, but you still did it." I nodded. "Yeah, I guess I did." Then he asked, "Do you remember your first promise?" I smiled immediately. Of course, I remembered. "Today, I will take one small step." Daniel looked at me and said, "Funny, isn't it? You thought 15 minutes of English every day wouldn't change anything, but those 15 minutes gave you enough confidence to stand in front of people today." I looked out the window. The afternoon sun was shining brightly. For the first time, I understood something. Big moments don't appear from nowhere. They are built by hundreds of small moments that nobody sees. Every page you read, every word you learn, every promise you keep, every day you choose not to quit. Those small moments quietly prepare you for the opportunity you don't even know is coming. That evening, I walked through the same park where I had once watched the little boy learning to ride his bicycle. The trees looked greener. The air felt fresher. Children were still playing. People were still laughing. The park hadn't changed. The city hadn't changed. Even my job hadn't changed. But I had changed. Not because I had become successful overnight, not because I had become rich, not because I had become fluent in English. I had changed because I no longer doubted every step I took. I had learned to trust the process. I sat on the same bench as before. I opened my notebook one last time. Below all the other sentences, I wrote, "One small step may seem unimportant today, but one day, it might become the reason your life changes forever." I closed the notebook, looked up at the sky. Andy smiled. Tomorrow, I would wake up at 6 again. I would make another cup of coffee. I would go to work. I would study English for another 15 minutes. Not because I had to, but because I had become someone who never stops growing. And somehow, that was the greatest victory of all. Closing. Thank you so much for listening to today's story. If this story reminded you of your own journey, I hope you'll remember one thing. You don't need to change your whole life today. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know every answer. Just take one small step, then another, and another. Because the life you dream about isn't built in a single day. It's built in the small choices you make every single day. Thank you for spending your time with me. Take care of yourself. Keep learning, keep growing, and remember, your story is only just beginning. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.